Number. Humans sent to a Doomworld. Returned with vacation pics. Number. Part 1. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council had never been this quiet. 300 representatives from different worlds sat in their seats, watching the holographic display with growing dread. The planet rotating before them looked beautiful from space, with its purple atmosphere and twin moons. But everyone in the room knew the truth about Krath 9. Ambassador Velcrin stood at the center podium, his 6 arms gesturing at the display. His species had lived for thousands of years, and in all that time, he had never seen a world quite like this one. "We have lost 47 ships," he said, his voice heavy. 233 soldiers, 18 rescue teams, all dead within days of landing. The display changed to show images from the last mission. Creatures with too many teeth. Plants that moved like animals. Machines that hunted anything with a heartbeat. The council members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. "The mining facility contains elements worth more than most planets," Velcrin continued. "But we cannot reach it. We have tried everything. Every species has sent their best warriors. None survived long enough to even see the facility." A voice spoke up from the back. "What about the humans?" The room erupted in whispers. The human delegation sat quietly in their section, looking slightly confused about all the attention. There were only 6 of them, dressed in simple uniforms that looked nothing like military gear. Velcrin hesitated. Humans were new to the Galactic Council, barely 50 years as members. They came from a world that other species considered moderately dangerous. Nothing special. Nothing that suggested they could handle Krath 9. But they were running out of options. "The human delegation will approach the podium," Velcrin announced. The 6 humans stood and walked down the aisle. The lead human was named Minho, a tall man with an easy smile that seemed out of place in such a serious meeting. Behind him came Yuna, carrying a data pad and looking excited about something. Then Taeyang, who was already studying the holographic display with intense focus. Hana walked with the confidence of someone who had seen trouble before. Jiho had a camera hanging around her neck, and Sora was typing notes on her portable device. They did not look like heroes. They looked like tourists. "Team leader Minho," Velcrin said formally. "The council seeks volunteers for a mission to Krath 9. We will be honest with you. This is likely a death sentence. But your species has a reputation for unusual problem-solving." Minho looked at the rotating planet. "What's the gravity?" 1.8 times your Earth standard. Atmosphere? Breathable, but with high acid content in precipitation. Temperature range? -10 to +45 Celsius, depending on region. Minho nodded slowly. He turned to his team. "Thoughts?" Yuna was practically bouncing. "The biological diversity reports are incredible. There are species here that shouldn't exist according to standard evolution models." Taeyang pointed at the display. "Those defense systems are 40 years old. The programming language is outdated." "I could probably work with that," Hana shrugged. "I've handled worse weather in the mountains back home." Jiho was already taking pictures of the holographic display. Sora looked up from her notes. "I'm getting great signal data. Communications should be stable." Minho turned back to Velcrin. "We'll do it." The council chamber exploded with noise. Representatives shouted over each other in dozens of languages. Velcrin raised his arms for silence. "You understand the danger? Every team we have sent has died. Horrible deaths. We have footage, if you need to see." "We read the files," Minho interrupted politely. "The carnivorous plants, the predator packs, the automated kill drones, the toxic rain, the unstable volcanic activity. We saw all of it. And you still volunteer?" "Sure." "When do we leave?" Velcrin did not know whether to admire their bravery or question their sanity. "We need time to prepare a proper military escort. Additional supplies. Backup teams," Not necessary, Minho said. We'll take our standard exploration ship. The one we came here in. We have our own equipment, Minho said. One. Your own equipment? Velkrin repeated. You realize this is not a normal exploration mission? Yuna smiled. All our missions are basically the same. New place, unknown factors, high risk. This one just has better documentation than usual. Better documentation, Velkrin said slowly. He looked at the reports again. Death, destruction, failure. This was their idea of good documentation? Another council member, a being made of crystalline structures, spoke up. Humans, perhaps you do not fully understand. Krath 9 has killed our best warriors. Species that are stronger than you, faster than you, with natural armor and weapons. What makes you think you will survive? Taeyang looked thoughtful. Well, strength isn't always the answer. Neither is speed. Sometimes, you need to think differently about the problem. Think differently. Yeah, everyone you sent probably tried to fight the planet, right? Use force against force? Of course. What else would? We'll try something else, Taeyang said with a small smile. Velkrin felt a headache forming, which was impressive considering his species rarely got headaches. You will at least take our weapons? Our shields? Our combat drones? We have our own tools, Hana said. They've worked pretty well so far. What tools? The humans exchanged glances. Minho started counting on his fingers. Portable shelters, environmental suits, medical kits, sample containers, mapping equipment, communication arrays, basic tools, some deterrent devices. Deterrent device? Sonic emitters, flash grenades, smoke bombs. You know, for keeping wildlife at a safe distance. We try not to hurt the local ecology, if we can avoid it. Velkrin stared at them. They were talking about facing military-grade killing machines and experimental bioweapons with hiking equipment and animal deterrents. This was madness. We cannot allow this, another ambassador said. It would be murder to send them to Krath 9 so poorly prepared. We're volunteering, Minho pointed out. And we're prepared for what we do. Exploration and research in dangerous environments. That's literally our job description. This is beyond dangerous. So was the toxic jungle moon we surveyed last year, Jiho said. Or the ice planet with the underground predators. Or that abandoned space station with the malfunctioning AI. You survived all of those? Obviously, Sora said, not looking up from her notes. Or we wouldn't be here. The council fell silent. They looked at these 6 humans with their casual attitude and complete lack of apparent fear. Either they were incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. Possibly both. Velkrin made a decision. Very well. You will leave in 3 days. We will prepare a memorial service in advance. That's grim, Yuna said cheerfully. But thanks for the vote of confidence. As the humans left the council chamber, the other ambassadors watched them go. They were talking among themselves about equipment lists and optimal landing zones. One of them made a joke, and the others laughed. Velkrin began composing the memorial speech in his head. These humans seemed nice. It was a shame they would be dead within a week. 3 days later, the human ship departed for Krath 9. The entire galaxy watched. Betting pools opened on how long they would survive. The most optimistic estimates gave them 48 hours. Nobody bet on them succeeding. Nobody knew what humans were really capable of. Number humans sent to a Doomworld returned with vacation pics. Number. Part 2. The ship broke through the purple atmosphere of Krath 9, with Jiho at the controls. Turbulence shook the vessel hard enough to rattle equipment, but she just adjusted her grip on the controls and hummed a tune. This is actually pretty smooth compared to that storm on the water moon, she commented. Through the viewport, the planet below looked angry. Purple and red clouds swirled in violent patterns. Lightning flashed in colors that did not exist on Earth. The acid rain that Velkrin had warned about fell in thick sheets, leaving steaming marks on the ground below. Beautiful, Yuna said, pressing her face against the window. Terrifying is the word most species use, Sora replied, monitoring her instruments. But yes, also, beautiful. They descended toward what the mission files called the Red Zone. Every other team had tried to land in safer areas and work their way toward the facility. Every other team had failed. Minho had looked at the pattern and made a simple decision. If we're going there anyway, why waste time? The landing was rough but controlled. The ship settled onto rocky ground near the edge of a cliff. Through the windows, they could see a landscape that looked like a nightmare. Strange plants with thorns the size of arms grew in twisted patterns. The rocks themselves seemed to pulse with an odd luminescence. In the distance, something large moved through the mist. Home sweet home, Minho said, standing and stretching. Let's get unpacked. The team moved with practiced efficiency. Each person had their role, their equipment, their responsibilities. They had done this dozens of times before, on other worlds. Dangerous worlds. Just never one quite this dangerous. Taeyang was the first to step outside, fully suited in his environmental gear. The acid rain hit his suit and slid off the treated surface. He held up a small device, reading the atmospheric data. Air is breathable with filters. Radiation levels are high, but manageable. Temperature is comfortable if you ignore the burning rain. So, a normal Tuesday, Hana said, joining him with the medical scanner. She took readings of the surrounding area, checking for biological hazards. The scanner kept beeping warnings. She turned down the volume. If I listened to every warning, it would never stop making noise. Within an hour, they had established a perimeter around the ship. Sora set up communication relays to maintain contact with the Galactic Council. Yuna began cataloging the nearby plant life with obvious excitement. Jiho flew a drone to map the immediate area. Minho and Taeyang studied the terrain, planning their route to the facility. We're being watched, Hana said casually, not looking up from her work. I know, Minho replied. 6 of them. In the rocks to the north. Been there for about 10 minutes. Want me to scare them off? Let's see what they do first. The creatures that emerged from the rocks were the same ones that had killed an entire team 3 months ago. 6-legged predators, with scales like metal and teeth, designed for tearing. The mission files said they hunted in packs and showed high intelligence. They were fast, strong, and had never failed to kill anything they targeted. The lead creature stopped about 50 meters away. It studied the humans with eyes that gleamed with predatory calculation. Its packmates spread out, trying to flank their prey. Yuna had her camera out. Oh, they're even better looking in person, she whispered, filming everything. Yuna, they're about to attack us, Sora pointed out. I know. This is amazing. The lead creature tensed, preparing to charge. Hana calmly pulled a small device from her belt and pressed a button. A high-pitched sound filled the air, too high for humans to hear properly but clearly painful for the creatures. They stopped. Confusion, replacing the hunting instinct. The sound pulsed in a specific pattern. One that Hana had designed based on the creature's hearing range. The predators backed away slowly. The lead creature made a sound that might have been a growl or a warning. Then, they retreated into the rocks. Still watching, but no longer aggressive. They'll be back, Hana said. But not today. They need to think about what happened. Did you just reason with murder beasts? Jiho asked. Sort of. I just gave them new information to consider. They're smart. Smart animals can learn. By nightfall, they had set up a full camp. Portable shelters stood in a circle around a central work area. Lights pushed back the darkness, revealing the strange beauty of Krath 9's night. The twin moons rose, casting double shadows across everything. The fungal forests in the valley below began to glow with bioluminescence, creating a display of colors that looked almost magical. "This is definitely going on the blog," Sora said, taking pictures. "You're writing a blog about this?" Mingho asked. "Someone should document it properly. The council's reports are all doom and gloom. Nobody mentions how pretty it is." Taeyong returned from his scouting mission with news. Found the first defense cluster. 3 automated drones, military grade. They're old, but still functional. How old? 40 years, like I thought. They're using the Kravix 7 programming language. I learned that in school, because it's considered a classic, even though nobody uses it anymore. Can you shut them down? Taeyong smiled. Better. I can reprogram them. The next morning, Taeyong went to work on the drones. The rest of the team watched from a safe distance as he approached the machines that had killed dozens of soldiers. The drones activated, their weapons tracking his movement. Red targeting lasers painted his chest. "This seems like a bad idea," Jiho muttered. "He knows what he's doing," Minho said, though his hand rested on his deterrent device just in case. Taeyong sat down in front of the nearest drone and pulled out his tools. He connected a portable computer to the drone's external port and began typing. The drone's weapon stayed locked on him, but it did not fire. It was confused. The small device connected to it was speaking its language, giving it commands. But the commands did not make sense according to its programming. "Come on," Taeyong whispered. "You're just a machine. You follow rules. I'm just changing the rules a little bit." His fingers flew across the keyboard. Lines of code appeared on his screen, showing the drone's decision-making process. It was actually quite simple, designed for a specific purpose. Identify target. Assess threat. Eliminate threat. Over and over, the same basic loop. Taeyong found the identification protocols and made a small change. A very small change. He added human biosignatures to the friendly list instead of the threat list. The drone's weapons lowered. It made a soft beeping sound. "Good robot," Taeyong said, patting it gently. "Now, let's talk about your friends." By lunch, he had reprogrammed all 3 drones. They now followed him around like loyal pets, their weapons tracking potential threats in the environment instead of the humans. He named the first one Buddy. "This is deeply weird," Yuna said, watching Buddy hover behind Taeyong as he ate. "But useful," Minho pointed out. "If he can do this with all the drones, our path to the facility just got a lot easier." That evening, the team gathered at the cliff edge to watch the sunset. The sky turned shades of orange and purple and red, colors mixing in ways that Earth's atmosphere never quite managed. The volcanic mountains in the distance rumbled, sending up plumes of smoke that caught the dying light. Jiho set up her camera for a group photo. "Everyone squeeze in. This is going to be great." They posed at the cliff edge, with the deadly beautiful landscape of Krath 9 behind them. Buddy the drone photobombed the picture by floating into frame at the last second. They all laughed. Back at the Galactic Council, Velkrin watched the transmission of the photo with complete confusion. The humans had been on Krath 9 for 48 hours. They should be dead. Instead, they were taking pictures and reprogramming defense systems and apparently making friends with predators. He did not understand humans at all. "Sir," his assistant said quietly, "the humans have sent their first official report." Velkrin braced himself for bad news. "Read it." It says, "Day 2 complete. Base camp established. Initial surveys done. Weather is challenging but manageable. Local wildlife is fascinating. Defense systems are less sophisticated than expected. Proceeding to Phase 2 tomorrow. Morale is high. Signed, Team Leader Minho." "Morale is high," Velkrin repeated slowly. "They're on the Death Planet, and morale is high. They also attached 17 photos, sir. Would you like to see them?" Velkrin looked at the images, humans smiling at cameras, glowing forests, double moonrises, a drone with hearts drawn on it, and at the bottom, a note from someone named Sora. "Krath 9, Day 2. Better than expected. The sunsets are incredible. Number extreme travel, number worth it." Velkrin put his head in his hands. The galaxy was watching. The betting pools were in chaos. Nobody knew what to think anymore. The humans were treating the Doomworld like a vacation spot. And somehow, impossibly, they were succeeding. Number humans. Sent to a Doomworld returned. With vacation pics. Number Part 3. Week 2 on Krath 9 began with Yuna almost dying, which she later described as the most exciting moment of the entire trip. The team had been mapping the crystalline caves on the eastern ridge. These caves contained bacteria that ate radiation, turning it into harmless light. The effect was beautiful, with the entire cave system glowing in soft blue and green colors. But the mission files warned about something else in those caves. Something that had killed 5 researchers in minutes. Carnivorous plants, giant ones. The files called them the crawlers, because they could move their roots like legs. They released spores that paralyzed victims, then slowly dissolved them for food. Every species that studied them agreed on one thing: stay far away. Yuna, of course, wanted samples. Just a few leaves, she said, approaching a massive specimen that hung from the cave ceiling. Its tendrils were as thick as Minho's arm, and its flower mouth was large enough to swallow a person whole. Yuna, no, Hana said firmly. Yuna, yes, Yuna replied, reaching up with her collection tool. The plant reacted instantly. Its tendrils whipped toward her, and a cloud of golden spores erupted from its flower. Yuna stumbled backward, but not fast enough. The spores hit her suit, and within seconds, she felt her muscles starting to lock up. Told you, Hana said, already moving. She pulled Yuna away from the plant, while simultaneously injecting her with a counter-agent. The antidote was something Hana had prepared before they even left the ship, based on the chemical analysis from the mission files. Within 30 seconds, Yuna could move again. The plant tried to follow, its roots pulling it along the cave floor. Taeyang threw a flash grenade that exploded with bright light. The plant recoiled, sensitive to the sudden brightness. They all backed away quickly. Okay, Yuna admitted, breathing hard. That was closer than I planned. You planned to almost get eaten? Jiho asked. I planned to get samples. The almost getting eaten part was unexpected. Did you at least get your samples? Yuna held up her collection container with a grin. Inside were several leaves and a small vial of the paralytic spores. Worth it. Minho sighed. New rule. Nobody approaches the murder plants without a buddy system. I had buddies. You were all right there. A buddy who will physically stop you, Minho clarified. Despite the close call, they continued exploring. Jiho's maps grew more detailed each day, covering hundreds of square kilometers. She rated each location by danger level and scenic value. The crystalline caves got a 9 out of 10 for scenery and an 8 out of 10 for danger, which she noted was a pretty good ratio for photography. Taeyang's drone collection grew. He now had 12 reprogrammed units following them around, which he organized into groups with different functions: scouts, guards, and carriers. Buddy led the scout group and took his job very seriously, always hovering at the front of their expeditions. The local predators learned to avoid the humans. After 3 more encounters where Hana's sonic deterrence proved effective, the 6-legged hunters decided this strange new species was more trouble than they were worth. They still watched from a distance, curious but cautious. One morning, Sora made an interesting discovery. While analyzing communication signals, she detected something unexpected. Patterns. Regular patterns that did not match any natural source or the automated defense systems. Someone's here, she told Minho. Or something. And they're communicating. The mission files said Krath 9 had no intelligent native life. All the dangerous creatures were either bioengineered weapons or natural predators. But Sora's data did not lie. Something was sending signals in a structured way. They followed the signals to a valley filled with strange rock formations. At first, it looked empty. Then Minho noticed the rocks were moving. Very slowly, but definitely moving. They're not rocks, he said quietly. The creatures were made of stone or something like stone. They moved like stones rolling downhill, but with clear purpose and direction. There were dozens of them, arranged in patterns that looked almost like a village or gathering place. Yuna was delighted. Indigenous silicon-based life forms. The files completely missed them. Or they were hiding, Sora suggested. She set up her equipment and began trying to communicate. The rock creatures did not respond at first, but she was patient. She tried different frequencies, different patterns, different approaches. After 3 hours, one of the creatures rolled closer. It was about the size of a large dog, roughly spherical, with crystal formations that might have been eyes or sensors. It stopped a few meters away and made a sound like grinding stones. Sora played back a similar sound, modified through her equipment. The creature made another sound. Sora responded. It was the beginning of communication. Basic, but real. Over the next few days, a routine developed. The rock creature, which Minho named Rocky, would visit their camp each morning. Sora would exchange sounds with it, building a simple vocabulary. Rocky seemed fascinated by the humans, especially their ability to manipulate objects with their hands. I think they're wondering why we're not afraid, Sora said. Every other species that came here either ran away or died quickly. We're just walking around like it's normal. We're Mender saying, it is pretty normal for us, Jiho pointed out. That's what confuses them. The real test came when they had to cross the volcanic region. The mining facility was on the other side of an active volcanic field, with lava flows and toxic gas vents creating a barrier that had stopped every previous expedition. The temperature there reached levels that would cook most species in their own armor. The humans studied the problem for 2 days, mapping safe routes and measuring gas concentrations. Then they put on heat-resistant suits and started walking. The volcanic field was as horrible as advertised. The ground was hot enough to melt boot soles if you stood still too long. Gas vents released clouds of chemicals that would dissolve lungs. Lava flows created rivers of molten rock that had to be carefully navigated around. The heat was intense, even through the protective suits. This is fine, Hana said, her voice calm despite the inferno around them. Just keep moving. Don't stop. The suit temperature is at maximum tolerance, Sora reported, reading her instruments. Then we're right where we need to be. Not over, not under. They moved in single file, following the path Jiho had mapped. The drones flew overhead, their sensors helping to spot dangers before the team reached them. Buddy's hull was starting to glow from the heat, but the little drone kept pace without complaint. Halfway across, they stopped at a safe zone, a rock formation that blocked the worst of the heat. While they rested and let their suits cool down, Jiho set up her camera. You're not seriously taking pictures now, Minho said. When else will I get the chance? Look at this view. Behind them, a lava flow curved around dark rocks, creating a river of fire that glowed orange and red. The sky was dark with ash, but breaks in the clouds let through shafts of purple light from the sun. It looked like the end of the world and the birth of a world at the same time. Jiho took several shots, including one with the whole team posed in their heat suits, with the lava river in the background. My family is never going to believe this, she said happily. The Galactic Council received the photo 3 hours later. The caption read, Day 14. Volcanic region crossing successful. Temperature high but manageable. Approximately halfway to primary objective. P.S. The lava here is a really pretty color. Velcrin stared at the image. 6 humans, standing in an environment that could kill most species in seconds, and they were taking group photos. The human in the middle was making a gesture with her hand, thumb and finger forming a circle. He had no idea what it meant, but it seemed cheerful. They're insane, said the Crystalline Council member, who had questioned the humans before. Completely insane. No, Velcrin said slowly. There's something else. Something we did not expect. What? Capable. News of the humans' progress spread across the galaxy. The betting pools were chaos. Most bets had been on how quickly they would die, not on whether they would succeed. Now people were scrambling to change their positions. Social media across hundreds of worlds was filled with the humans' photos. Yuna's pictures of alien wildlife. Jiho's landscape shots. Taeyang's technical diagrams of the reprogrammed drones. Sora's travel blog, which she updated daily with cheerful commentary about this hidden gem of a planet. Some species were inspired. Young adventurers started talking about following in the humans' footsteps. Others were horrified, insisting that the humans were just lucky and would eventually meet their fate. Rocky the rock creature apparently decided to follow the humans across the volcanic field. They found him waiting on the other side, somehow having crossed the deadly terrain through methods they could not figure out. He rolled along behind them from that point on, a silent companion who seemed determined to see what these strange, soft creatures would do next. "We're collecting quite a group," Minho observed, looking at their expedition. 6 humans, 12 drones, and 1 silicon-based alien who adopted them. "Just like home," Hana said. "We always pick up strays." They stood at the edge of the volcanic field, looking toward the facility in the distance. They were closer now than any previous expedition, and they had done it by treating Krath 9 not as an enemy to fight, but as an environment to understand and adapt to. The galaxy watched and waited to see what the humans would do next. Humans sent to a Doomworld returned with vacation pics. Number. Part 4. The mining facility stood like a monument to failure. Every expedition had tried to reach it. None had made it inside. The building itself was a massive structure of metal and concrete, built to withstand anything the planet could throw at it. Around it, a dense network of defense systems created a killing zone that had lived up to its name. The humans spent 3 days observing from a safe distance. Taeyang mapped every drone patrol pattern, every sensor placement, every automated weapon system. It was an impressive setup, designed by engineers who understood security. But it was also 40 years old, and that made all the difference. "They never updated the software," Taeyang said, studying his data. "Not once. They just left everything running on the original programming." "Why would they?" Minho asked. "Nobody could get close enough to hack it anyway, except us." The plan was complex but simple in concept. Taeyang would use his reprogrammed drones to create a pathway through the defenses, hacking each system one at a time. The other drones would run interference, making the facility's security think it was under attack from multiple directions. In the confusion, the humans would walk right in. "This is either really smart or really stupid," Jiho commented. "Could be both," Taeyang admitted. "But I'm pretty sure it will work." They put the plan into action at dawn. The drones spread out around the facility, each one carrying a piece of Taeyang's hacking code. They approached the first layer of defenses, and the facility's weapon systems immediately activated. Lasers, missiles, and kinetic weapons all came online, tracking the drones. But the drones were speaking the facility's language. They sent signals that looked like friendly identification codes, mixed with commands that confused the targeting systems. The weapons hesitated, processing contradictory information. In that moment of confusion, Taeyang's code spread deeper into the network. "First layer compromised," he reported. Moving to second layer. The process repeated, layer after layer. Each time, the facility's defenses tried to respond but found themselves receiving orders that did not make sense. "Shut down. Stay active. Target here. No. Target there. Friend or foe." The systems were not built to handle this kind of confusion. Within 2 hours, Taeyang had control of 60% of the defense network. The remaining 40% was on standby, waiting for clear orders that would never come. A corridor opened through the killing zone, invisible to anyone who did not know it was there. "We're clear," Taeyang said. "Let's move quickly before anything resets." They walked through the most dangerous defensive perimeter in the sector like they were taking a morning stroll. Rocky rolled along behind them. apparently interested in whatever they were doing. The facility's weapons tracked them but did not fire, their programming overridden by Taeyang's commands. The facility's entrance was sealed by a massive door designed to withstand explosions. Taeyang connected his portable computer to the access panel and smiled. Same password they've been using for 40 years. Nobody thought to change it. The door slid open with a hiss of escaping air. The interior was dark, lit only by emergency lights that cast everything in red. The team activated their flashlights and moved inside carefully. Their footsteps echoed in the empty corridors. "This place is huge," Sora said, her voice quiet. The maps did not show how big it really is. See, they followed the main corridor toward the central operations room. That was where the facility's controls were located, and where they needed to go to complete their mission. But the corridor led through the heart of the facility, and the files had warned about something that lived there. The Guardian. They heard it before they saw it. A sound like metal scraping stone, mixed with something that might have been breathing. The sound echoed through the corridors, making it impossible to tell which direction it came from. Then, it appeared at the far end of the hall. The Guardian was massive, 3 times the size of a human. It had been a biological creature once, some kind of predator, native to another world. But someone had enhanced it with cybernetics, turning it into a living weapon. Metal plates covered parts of its body. Its eyes glowed with electronic light. Its claws were tipped with metal sharp enough to cut through armor. The files said it had killed 43 people. It was fast, strong, and programmed to destroy anything that entered the facility. It had never failed. It looked at the humans and charged. "Scatter." The team split in different directions as the Guardian crashed through the space where they had been standing. It was incredibly fast for something so large. It chose a target, Hana, and charged again. Hana rolled to the side, barely avoiding the claws. She threw a flash grenade, but the Guardian's cybernetic eyes compensated for the brightness in milliseconds. It swung at her again, and this time, its claws caught her suit, tearing through the outer layer. "I'm okay," Hana called out. "But we need a plan." "Working on it," Taeyang shouted. He was staring at the Guardian with intense focus. Not running. Not moving. Just watching. "Working faster would be good," Jiho yelled, helping Hana to her feet. The Guardian turned toward them, preparing for another charge. But Yuna stepped into its path, holding up her scanner. "Wait," she called out. "Everyone! Wait! Yuna, move," Ming ordered. "No. Look at it. Really. Look at it." The Guardian stopped, confusion flickering across its face. This small creature was not running. It was standing there, pointing a device at the Guardian like it expected something to happen. "The cybernetics," Yuna said quickly. "They're integrated with its nervous system. That means they're running the same kind of interface we've seen in the other systems." "Taeyang, can you see the connection port?" Taeyang moved carefully to get a better angle. There, at the base of the Guardian's skull, was a small panel. "I see it, but I can't get close enough to access it while it's active." "I'm C, so we need to keep it distracted," Minho said. "Everyone, spread out. Make it choose between targets. Confuse it." The team moved, each person positioning themselves in a different direction. The Guardian's head swiveled, trying to track all of them at once. Its programming was optimized for dealing with single targets or small groups moving together. This was different. While the Guardian was distracted, Taeyang circled around behind it. He moved slowly, carefully, trying not to trigger the creature's attention. Rocky suddenly rolled into the hallway, and the Guardian's sensors locked onto the moving rock creature. That gave Taeyang the seconds he needed. He jumped onto the Guardian's back and pulled open the access panel. The creature roared and spun, trying to throw him off. Taeyang held on with one hand while connecting his portable computer with the other. His fingers flew across the keyboard even as the Guardian thrashed. Come on, Taeyang muttered. The Guardian slammed backward into a wall, trying to crush Taeyang. He gasped in pain, but did not let go. His screen showed the creature's programming, lines of code that controlled its enhanced muscles and cybernetic responses. He found the aggression protocols and started shutting them down one by one. The Guardian's movements became slower, less coordinated. It stopped trying to attack and started simply trying to understand what was happening to it. Years of programming were being unwound in seconds. "Got it," Taeyang called out. The Guardian stopped moving entirely, its systems rebooting. When it came back online, the murderous intelligence in its eyes was gone, replaced by something more natural. The biological creature that had been trapped inside the weapons system. It looked at the humans with what might have been curiosity. Then it lay down on the floor like an exhausted animal and closed its eyes. "Is it sleeping?" Jiho asked in disbelief. "Probably," Taeyang said, climbing down carefully. "It's been active for 40 years. It's probably tired." Yuna immediately pulled out her scanner and began taking readings. "This is incredible. The biological and cybernetic integration is far more advanced than anything in our medical files. We have to study this." Later, Minho said firmly. They left the sleeping Guardian and continued to the central operations room. The controls were exactly where the files said they would be, covered in dust but still functional. Taeyang activated the main systems and began the reboot sequence that would bring the facility back online properly. "Mining operations can resume in approximately 6 hours," he reported. "All defenses are set to standby mode. The rare element storage is intact and ready for extraction." Minho activated his communicator. "Galactic Council. This is Team Leader Minho. The facility is secure. I repeat, the facility is secure. You can send your extraction teams." There was a long silence on the other end. Then Velkrin's voice, sounding like he could not quite believe what he was hearing. "You secured the facility?" "Yes, sir." "The entire facility?" "Yes, sir." "With no casualties?" Jiho twisted her ankle earlier in the week, but she's fine now. And Hana got a small cut from the Guardian, but it's already treated. Does that count? Another long silence. "The Guardian? You encountered the Guardian?" "Yes, sir. It's napping in Corridor B7. You might want to send a xenobiology team. It's actually pretty interesting when it's not trying to kill you." Minho could hear something that sounded like someone fainting in the background of the transmission. Several voices, talking at once. Then Velkrin again, his voice carefully controlled. "We will send teams immediately. Well done, Team Leader Minho. Against all probability, well done." The transmission ended. The team looked at each other and smiled. They had done it. The impossible mission was complete. "Before we leave," Sora said, pulling out her camera, "we need a picture at the control room." They posed together in the operations center, with the ancient controls and displays behind them. Buddy floated into the shot again, still loyal after everything. Rocky rolled into frame from the side, and if you looked carefully at the background, you could just see the sleeping Guardian in the corridor beyond. The galaxy had said it could not be done. The humans had proven otherwise. Human sent to a Doomworld, returned with vacation pics. Number, Part 5. The Galactic Council chamber was packed. Representatives from every member species had come to witness the humans' return. News crews from hundreds of worlds set up cameras. The betting pools had paid out massive amounts to the few optimists who bet on human success. Everyone wanted to see these strange creatures who had done the impossible. Velkrin stood at the podium, his 6 arms clasped nervously. He had prepared a speech welcoming back heroic survivors. Now he was not sure if heroes or madmen would walk through that door. Perhaps both. The doors opened. 6 humans entered, and the chamber fell silent. They looked healthy. More than healthy, they looked relaxed. Tanned from exposure to Krath 9's sun. Fit from weeks of hiking rough terrain, carrying equipment cases and sample containers. Yuna had a bag that moved slightly, containing something alive. Taeyang had what looked like drone parts sticking out of his backpack. Jiho carried camera equipment. They looked like they were returning from a research expedition, not a suicide mission. Team leader Minho, Velkrin said formally. Welcome back to the Galactic Council. Your report, please. Minho stepped forward. The mission was successful. The facility is operational and ready for mining crews. All defense systems are under control. We've mapped approximately 70% of the planet's surface. Biological samples have been collected from 43 different species. Geological data has been recorded from 12 distinct regions, and we've made first contact with the indigenous silicon-based life forms that were not previously known to exist. Casualties? 1 twisted ankle, 1 minor cut, several bruises. Nothing serious. The chamber erupted in whispers. Velkrin raised his arms for silence. You spent 4 weeks on Krath 9. 4 weeks on the planet that killed every other expedition in days. How? Minho thought about that question. We treated it like any other mission. Observe first. Understand the environment. Adapt our methods to what we found. Work as a team. Stay calm. Most problems have solutions if you look for them instead of fighting them. But the defenses, the creatures, the automated weapons, were all following predictable patterns? Taeyang interrupted. Old programming, instinctive behaviors, systems that nobody had updated in 40 years. Once we understood the patterns, we could work around them. A crystalline ambassador spoke up. But our warriors tried to fight the planet and failed. You are not stronger than our warriors. How did you succeed where they failed? King. Partixessens Cam, and for Ustri, Hana answered this time. We did not fight the planet. We respected it. The creatures there are dangerous. But they're also just animals trying to survive. The defense systems are lethal, but they're also just code. Everything can be understood if you take the time. You make it sound simple, Velkrin said. It was not simple, Minho admitted. It was hard work. But we're trained for hard work in dangerous places. That's what exploration teams do. Speaking of which, Sora said cheerfully, we've put together a presentation about our findings. Would you like to see it? Velkrin did not know what to say. These humans had just completed an impossible mission and wanted to show a presentation like it was a school project. Very well. Very well. The lights dimmed. A holographic display activated, showing the first image. Krath 9 from orbit, with its purple atmosphere and twin moons. Day 1. Jiho's narration began. Landing in the red zone. Initial challenges included acid, rain, and high gravity adjustment. But the view was worth it. The images cycled through. The base camp with its protective shelters. The 6-legged predators watching from a distance. Taeyang, working on his first drone conversion. With Buddy floating in the background. The crystalline caves with their glowing bacteria. Rocky the rock creature joining their expedition. Day 8, Jiho continued. Yuna's near-fatal encounter with carnivorous plants. Note to future explorers. Always use the buddy system when collecting samples. The image showed Yuna holding her collection container triumphantly, while Hana applied medical treatment in the background. Several council members made distressed sounds. Day 14. Crossing the volcanic region. Temperature control was critical, but the landscape was spectacular. The group photo with the lava river made several ambassadors gasp. The humans were standing in an environment that should have killed them, making cheerful gestures at the camera. Day 23. Securing the facility. The Guardian was successfully pacified through technological intervention rather than combat. It's currently recovering under observation and appears much calmer. The final slide showed the team in the operations center, with Buddy, Rocky, and even the sleeping Guardian visible in the frame. They all looked proud but casual, like they had just completed a particularly good day at work. The lights came back up. The chamber was completely silent. Questions? Minho asked. Every representative tried to speak at once. Velkrin had to call for order 3 times before the questions could be organized. Did you ever fear for your lives? Asked one ambassador. A few times, Hana admitted. But fear is just information. It tells you to be careful. It does not have to stop you. How did you maintain morale in such conditions? We supported each other, Yuna said. And honestly, the work was interesting. We were documenting things nobody had seen before. That's exciting. What about the planet's reputation? Did it not concern you? Taeyang shrugged. Reputations can be misleading. We based our approach on data, not stories. The questions continued for over an hour. The humans answered each one patiently, explaining their methods, their reasoning, their decisions. They made it all sound logical, even though everyone knew what they had done was extraordinary. Finally, Velkrin asked the question that many were thinking. What do you want in return for this success? Territory? Resources? Political power? Minho looked surprised. We were sent to do a job. We did the job. That's the return, but you must want something. The humans looked at each other. Some silent communication passed between them. Then Minho turned back with a small smile. Actually, there is one thing. Name it. We'd like permission to publish a travel guide to Krath 9. Sora's been working on it. We think other species might want to visit. Now that it's safe. Well, safer. Still dangerous. But manageable, dangerous. The chamber exploded with noise. A travel guide? To the Death Planet? You want other people to go there? Velkrin could not believe what he was hearing. Sure, Sora said. It's an amazing place. The volcanic regions are incredible. The fungal forests are beautiful. The wildlife is fascinating once you understand it. It seems like a waste for such a spectacular planet to just sit empty. Spectacular? An ambassador repeated weakly. It killed hundreds. It doesn't have to, Taeyang said. We've left detailed guides about safe routes, how to handle the wildlife, how to deal with the remaining automated systems. With proper preparation and respect for the environment, Krath 9 could be a destination for adventurous explorers. The idea was insane. It was also, in a strange way, very human. They had gone to hell, survived, and decided to write a positive review. News of the humans' success spread faster than light communication. Within hours, the entire galaxy knew. The species that had doubted humans were now re-evaluating everything they thought they knew. The young adventurers who had been inspired by the daily updates were now booking trips to other dangerous worlds, wanting to follow the human example. Sora's blog exploded with followers. Her travel guide to Krath 9 became the most downloaded document in galactic history. It included practical advice, stunning photography, and a surprising amount of humor for a survival manual. Yuna's biological samples led to breakthroughs in xenobiology. Taeyang's research on the automated systems changed how the galaxy approached AI security. Jiho's maps became the standard reference for Krath 9 exploration. Hana's medical protocols were adopted by emergency response teams across multiple worlds. The Galactic Council held a private meeting after the humans left. They needed to discuss what humanity's success meant for the wider galaxy. We have been wrong about them, Velkrin admitted. What makes them different? Asked the crystalline ambassador. I have been thinking about that, Velkrin said. I believe it is their perspective. They do not see danger as something to conquer or flee from. They see it as something to understand and adapt to. They approach the impossible with curiosity instead of fear. They also work well together, another ambassador noted. No ego, no competition within the team. Just cooperation. Should we be concerned? Someone asked. If humans can do this, what else can they do? I do not think we should be concerned, Velkrin said slowly. I think we should be grateful. The galaxy has many impossible problems. Perhaps we have finally found a species that specializes in solving them. 2 months later, Minho received a message at his home on Earth. It was from the Galactic Council. They had another mission, another impossible situation, a space station trapped in decaying orbit around a black hole. Everyone said it could not be saved. Everyone except the Council, who were now willing to ask a different question. Would humans like to try? Minho called his team. There's a new mission. It's dangerous. More dangerous than Krath 9? Yuna asked, already sounding interested. Different dangerous. Black hole physics dangerous. I'm in, Taeyang said immediately. I've always wanted to see a black hole up close. The photos would be incredible, Jiho added. I'll start researching gravitational medical effects, Hannah said. Already plotting navigation routes, Sora announced. And yes, I'm starting a new blog. Mingyu smiled. Then I guess we're going to a black hole. Pack your cameras. Somewhere in the galaxy. Rocky, the rock creature, sensed his strange human friends preparing for another adventure. He began rolling in the direction of their ship. Wherever they were going, it was sure to be interesting. The betting pools opened again. This time, more people bet on the humans succeeding. The galaxy was learning. Humans were not the strongest species. Not the fastest. Not the smartest, by any single measure. But they had something else. A combination of curiosity, adaptability, cooperation, and a strange tendency to treat deadly challenges like interesting problems to solve. They called it the human spirit. The galaxy was beginning to understand why that mattered. And in quiet corners of 1,000 worlds, young explorers looked at the pictures from Krath 9 and thought, if they can do it, maybe we can too. That, perhaps, was humanity's greatest gift. Not just surviving the impossible, but inspiring others to try.